All right, strap yourselves in. We're going deep on a discovery that has astronomers talking. A baby planet.
Oh, wow.
Just 3 million years old.
3 million years.
Can you imagine being that young? Found in the Taurus Molecular Cloud, about 430 light years away.
Wow.
That's like looking back at the solar system's baby pictures.
It really is. It's remarkable. Finding planets this young, especially gas giants, is incredibly challenging.
Right.
They're typically hidden, shrouded in these thick debris disks left over from the planet formation process makes them really hard to detect.
Like trying to find a needle in a cosmic haystack.
Yeah.
But this time, the universe gave astronomers a little bit of a helping hand. This baby planet,
A little bit of luck.
officially known as IRAS 04125+2902b,
Catchy.
orbits within a warped disk.
Right.
And that warp is the key to its discovery.
Exactly. The outer part of the disk is tilted. It's tilted in a way that lets us see the planet pass in front of its star. Without that lucky warp, this planet would probably still be hidden from view.
So we got lucky with this warp. But how did astronomers actually find this planet?
Well, this discovery relies on the transit method. When a planet passes in front of its star, it blocks a tiny fraction of the star's light, causing a dip in its brightness.
Right.
By carefully measuring these dips, astronomers can figure out that a planet is there. That's how TESS, the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite,
Right.
has been so successful at finding thousands of exoplanets.
It's just amazing to me that we can detect those subtle changes in a star's light
Yeah,
from hundreds of light years away.
it is incredible.
But let's get back to that warped disk. What's the leading theory on why it's bent like that?
So the most plausible explanation, and it's actually backed by computer simulations, suggests that the disk's warp shape might be caused by material raining down from the surrounding star-forming region.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, you've got streams of gas and dust from nearby stellar nurseries impacting the disk, and that impact causes it to become misaligned.
So picture a cosmic downpour warping a giant frisbee made of gas and dust.
Exactly. That's a great way to visualize it.
It's a fascinating idea,
Yeah,
but I imagine it's pretty tough to prove.
it certainly is. While those computer models support the theory, more observations and research are needed to confirm it. One of the key questions is just how common this warping phenomenon might be in young star systems.
Right.
If it's widespread, it could mean that we've been missing a whole bunch of planets hidden within these warped disks.
That would be incredible. Think of all the hidden planets just waiting to be discovered. But let's focus on the star of our show, IRAS 04125 plus 2902. What have we learned about this young planet itself?
Well, to get a better look at its characteristics, astronomers combine the transit data from TESS with something called radial velocity measurements. This is also known as the wobble method. It measures the subtle gravitational tug
Oh, yeah.
a planet exerts on its star.
I think I remember learning about this.
Yeah.
A planet's gravity causes its star to wobble slightly.
Yeah.
And we can see that wobble
Right.
by observing these tiny shifts in the star's light,
Yeah,
right?
precisely. Those shifts give us valuable info about the planet's mass. In the case of our little baby planet,
Yeah.
the radial velocity measurements show that it's surprisingly lightweight for a gas giant, only about a third of Jupiter's mass.
That's interesting. So it's on the smaller side for a gas giant?
Yes.
What about its size?
That's where things get really interesting. The transit data show that this planet has a diameter similar to Jupiter's.
Wait, hold on. So it's a third of Jupiter's mass, but the same size. That means it must have a really low density.
You got it. Imagine a giant puffy world with this really extended atmosphere, almost like a cosmic balloon.
No, this baby planet is basically a giant puffball floating through space. That's wild. What does that tell us about its future?
Well, it might not stay a gas giant forever. This puffy atmosphere could shrink over time, leading to a much smaller planet, perhaps a mini Neptune, or even a super-Earth. Two planet types that are incredibly common in the galaxy, but not found in our own solar system.
That's fascinating. So this one young planet could offer clues into the formation and evolution of these mysterious planet types that we're really just starting to understand. This is already shaping up to be an incredible deep dive.
I know, right?
And we've only just scratched the surface. We're back. And we're still talking about that remarkable baby planet IRAS 04125 plus 2902b nestled inside that warp disk hundreds of light years away. Before we took a break, we were talking about its puffy atmosphere and the possibility that it could actually shrink over time.
Yeah. It raises some really interesting questions about the planet's evolution. We know that mini Neptunes and super-Earths are like the most common planet types in our galaxy, yet our own solar system doesn't have any Epresian. Studying a planet like IRAS 04125+2902b, which may be transitioning into one of those types, could be valuable for understanding how they form and evolve.
It's like we're catching this planet in a really critical moment of its development, like a planetary adolescence.
Yeah.
But this whole discovery from the warp disk to the planet's unique characteristics, it really seems to challenge some of our assumptions about how planets form.
Absolutely. For a long time, the standard model of planet formation suggested that planets formed in a relatively orderly way, staying in their initial orbital paths. But what we're seeing with IRA as 04125+2902b paints a much more dynamic picture, a more chaotic picture.
Yeah, we've got a warp disk potentially caused by infalling material from surrounding stellar nurseries. And then there's this possibility of the planet migrating inward, shedding its atmosphere along the way.
Yeah.
It's a far cry from the neat and tidy solar system we're used to.
Right. And this leads us to planet migration. It's becoming increasingly clear that planets don't always stay put. They can move around within their systems, influenced by the gravity of other planets or even nearby stars.
So our solar system's orderly arrangement might actually be the exception, not the rule. That's kind of a radical shift in thinking.
It is, and it has really profound implications for our understanding of how planetary systems evolve. And even for the search for life beyond Earth. Think about it. A planet could form in the habitable zone, the sweet spot where conditions are just right for liquid water. But then, because of gravitational interactions, it could get flung out into the cold, dark reaches of the outer system.
Or the opposite could happen, right? A planet that formed too far out could migrate inward and get a second chance at habitability. It's like a cosmic game of musical chairs, with planets jockeying for position and the potential for life hanging in the balance.
Perfect analogy. And this is where the discovery of IRA 04125+2902b becomes even more significant. It's not just about finding another planet, it's about understanding the complex and dynamic processes that shape these planetary systems.
Speaking of understanding, this discovery was a result of some pretty incredible scientific work.
Oh, absolutely. A team of astronomers led by Madison G. Barber at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. They spearheaded this research, painstakingly analyzing data from TESS and ground-based telescopes to uncover the secrets of this young planetary system, and they actually published their findings in Nature. The paper's definitely worth a read. If you want to dive into those technical details, you can find it by searching for the DOI, 10.1038, 01586, 024, 081233.
It's just amazing what human ingenuity and that relentless pursuit of knowledge can achieve. But let's bring it back down to Earth for a second. Why should we care about a baby planet trillions of miles away that might not even exist in the form we recognize in a few billion years?
That's a great question, and I think the answer lies in the interconnectedness of the universe. By studying these distant planetary systems, we're actually gaining a deeper understanding of our own cosmic origins. The processes that shaped IRA's 04125+2902b and its warped disk are the same processes that shaped our solar system billions of years ago.
It's like looking through a cosmic time machine, gaining glimpses into our own past.
Exactly, and by piecing together that puzzle of planet formation, we gain insights into the conditions that led to the emergence of life on Earth. We start to ask, how common are these processes? How likely is it that other Earth-like planets exist out there?
So this discovery, as distant as it seems, ripples outward, touching upon the very questions of our existence and our place in the vastness of space.
Precisely. And the fact that this discovery challenges some of those long-held assumptions about planet formation opens up this whole new realm of possibilities.
It's both exhilarating and humbling. I'm eager to hear more about those possibilities. What are some of the key takeaways you'd like listeners to think about as we continue our deep dive? So we've been exploring this fascinating discovery of a baby planet IRAS 04125+2902b tucked away in that warp disk light years from Earth. It's amazing how this one discovery can challenge our whole understanding of how planetary systems evolve.
Yeah, it really highlights how dynamic these systems are. For a long time, we thought of planets forming neatly in their orbits and staying put. But now we're seeing evidence of migration planets moving huge distances within their systems,
Right.
even interacting with each other in these complex gravitational dances.
It definitely paints a much more chaotic and interesting picture of planetary evolution than we imagined before.
Yeah.
What are some of the implications of this more dynamic understanding of how planets form?
Well, one of the biggest is for the search for other Earth-like planets, especially those that might have life, if planets can migrate. It means a planet we see today in a seemingly inhospitable location might have formed somewhere completely different, maybe even in the habitable zone of its star.
So a planet that seems barren and icy now could have once been a lush, life-bearing world.
Exactly.
And the opposite could be true, too. A planet that seems perfect for life today might have migrated in from a more volatile region.
Precisely. It adds a whole new layer of complexity to the search for habitable worlds. We can't just look at where a planet is now. We need to consider its whole history,
Wow.
its potential migration path, and how it interacted with other planets in its system.
It's like trying to reconstruct a crime scene billions of years after it happened, with only a few clues.
A great analogy. And this is why studying young planetary systems like IRAS 04125+2902b is so crucial. They give us a glimpse into those early stages of planetary evolution, helping us understand the processes that shape these systems and the conditions that might lead to life.
It's almost like having a time machine to observe the birth and evolution of planets.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
And with those more powerful telescopes coming online, like the James Webb Space Telescope and the Extremely Large Telescope, we're going to be able to study these young systems in even greater detail, unraveling their secrets and refining our models of planet formation.
It's so exciting to think about what we might discover in the coming years. What are some of the questions that you're most eager to see answered?
Well, I'm really interested in learning more about how common warped disks are, like the one we see around IRA 04125+2902b. If these warped structures are everywhere, it could mean we've underestimated the number of planets out there, especially giant planets, because they've been hidden from view.
It's like we've been looking through a keyhole, and now we're starting to open the door to a much larger and more diverse planetary landscape.
Exactly. And with that broader view, we can start to tackle those really big questions about our place in the universe,
Yeah.
How common are planetary systems like ours? How different are the planets out there? And ultimately, are we alone?
Those are some big questions. It's incredible that the discovery of a single puffy planet, still in its infancy, can get us closer to answering those huge questions.
That's the beauty of science. Every discovery, no matter how small it seems, has the potential to ripple outward, expanding our understanding of the universe and our place in it.
It's been an amazing journey, exploring the world of IRAS 04125+2902b, from its warped disk to its possible future. Before we wrap up, what's one key takeaway you want our listeners to think about as they keep learning about these incredible discoveries in astronomy?
I think the most important lesson is to embrace the unknown, to keep an open mind, and never underestimate the power of scientific curiosity. The universe is always surprising us, challenging what we think we know,
Right.
and revealing new wonders. Every time we think we've got a handle on things, the universe throws us a curveball, like a baby planet hiding in a warped disk. It reminds us there's always more to learn.
Well said. It's a good reminder that the journey of scientific discovery never really ends. And that's what makes it so exciting. As we continue to explore the vastness of space, I have no doubt we'll find even more mind-boggling discoveries, pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and inspiring generations to come. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and keep looking up.